So welcome, my listener. I am Wahom Mengari. I'm founder of the Personal Finance Academy. And in the discussion that we had, we said 90% of wealthy families, they lose their wealth by the third generation. So the only way you safeguard your wealth is to actually make sure that children understand these things that they don't get taught in school. But that was not the discussion. Let's go to the discussion. We are looking at the 10 minutes financial health checkup everyone should do once every month. Because by assessing your financial health, you can identify the areas that require improvement. You can be able to take action so that you set yourself on a better path. And I think everybody wants to be on a better path. So we are looking at how do I identify what some improvement? Where do I need to take some more action? Managing your finances doesn't have to be complicated. We're just saying with just 10 minutes, you can assess your financial health, identify areas of improvement, and take action so that you set yourself on a better path. And that is why today we are going to discuss this simple, practical guide that's going to help us check our financial well-being in just 10 minutes every month, not more, not less. Yeah. So for those people who like motor safari rally, see, we just come from Naivasha. There's something we notice about the rally car all the time. There's something called a pit stop. It's running, it gets to a point, it is stopped. And within a short time, there's just that many people come to service that car. And it looks like everybody has just one thing to do. So it's a very, very rapid operation. But within a very short time, the operation is done and the car is left long enough to be able to continue. So there is precision, there is effectiveness. And this is what we're saying. For my finances, I'm like the rally car. There's so many things I'm doing. I never stop. But I need to have a time just to stop and get these things fixed. And the only way to get these things fixed is that you have to check. You have to check a couple of things. So we're looking at 5 things we need to check. And each one of them is only going to take 2 minutes, not more. We're not saying spend the whole day here. No. We're just saying 2 minutes. So the first thing we are going to do is just to review our savings. Are we doing savings? Yes, we have had an income. We have expenses. But are we saving? Because if we don't save, there will be trouble tomorrow. And here what we are doing is we are assessing our savings and our emergency fund. Those are the 2 things that we are looking at. For the emergency fund, we need to have at least 3 to 6 months of our living expenses saved so we can be able to deal with an unexpected event. And we see an unexpected event, job loss, income loss. Those have become a reality in the world we are living in this dynamic. We get financial emergencies. Somebody gets sick and they need urgent medical attention. So we're saying, do we have an emergency fund? And to be sure, is it 3 to 6 months? Is it within 3 to 6 months of your income? If you're struggling with what your living expenses are, just use your income. Is it like your 3 months income? If your income is 50,000, is it 150,000? That's what you're saying. It's an easy thing. The other part of the saving is obviously short-term goals. There are things we set out early in the year. We say it happened new year, and we set ourselves on a path to succeed. And we even had a resolution of the things that we need to do. So what are the short-term things? What are the things we say, these ones I'll do in 2025? No, you are saving for specific things. As you're doing your goals, you also set medium-term goals. There are things you say, I'll do this in the next 3 years. But it means you have to save little for it every now and then. Maybe you say, I want to buy a car. So you need to raise some deposit. So when you go to the bank or the circle, then you have the balance. How much of that is saved? You say to yourself, you're going to buy a plot. And you said you're going to save a portion of that. Or it's time to go back to school. You said, I'll do a diploma, I'll do a degree, I need to save. Or maybe for you, it was long term. How much are you contributing to your retirement fund? It might be your children's tertiary education fund. How much have you put in that fund? Maybe for you, it is home ownership. How much is in the home ownership? Or you said you're going to do invest. So we are looking at the whole saving and say, okay, this whole month, how much have I done in the saving? That's all we are looking at. An action tip here, something you need to do. Just look through your investment. Look at your payslip. Or your insurance statements, which now come to the post office, which sometimes you don't even pick. Or they come onto your phone, on your pension statement. We are saying, look at this. And just be sure the savings are going where they need. If you look at all those, they'll tell you what the savings are. 2 minutes, no more, no less than 2 minutes. And that will tell you whether you're saving, whether you're going where you want. Now, the next thing that we're going to do, we want to see where the debt. We're checking our debt levels. And we're also going to take just 2 minutes, just to be sure where the debt. We want to understand how much you owe. And we want to make sure that we are managing debts effectively. We don't want to be like the Republic. The Republic seems to be struggling with the debts all the time. So we want to be sure how much do I owe and ensure that I'm managing it effectively. And that is why we always say, in fact, sometimes you need just to write them down. What are these high interest rates that I have? Do I owe anything to the credit card? Do I have a balance that is not paid? The digital lenders, who did I borrow from? You know how easy it is to borrow from the digital lender? They just say *# this and you're done. So you need to have a record. You have personal loans because there are times you ask for loans from friends, from family, from work colleagues, and you're saying, am I paying? And how much interest am I paying for this? Are they consumer debt? Do I like them? So you're just taking a stock of the loans you have. And it's easier to write them down. We always say, what is the name of the loan? How much is the amount? And how much the interest? That's simple so that you can be very, very clear what you're saying. Now, the other thing that you do as you're checking on your loan, you ask yourself, which of these is a good debt and which is a bad debt? And we said it is a good debt if it improves your financial future. It is a bad debt if it messes up your financial future. So what debts are you carrying? Is it a car loan? Is it a mortgage? Is it a business loan? Those are good debts because they are contributing to your wealth creation and they are not draining your finances. But if you have bad debts, you borrowed for show, you borrowed to entertain friends, all those things, those are bad debts. And so whatever debts you have, you need to allocate which one is good, which is bad. Then you look at your payment. Are you paying? You ensure that your repayments are fitting within your budget, because when they start not fitting with your budget, what that means is you owe and you neglect, you're not paying. If you owe and you're not paying, that is going to come back and hurt you in a big way, because that's where we have problems. So if I say the action tip here is we take stock of all our debts and their interest. Just take a moment, write them down. What's the name of the debt? How much is the amount? What's the interest that I'm paying? When you're doing the interest, well, let's say convert it in per annum, because sometimes they give you an interest rate per day, sometimes they give you an interest rate per month. This is a calculator. It's called cost of credit. If you put your numbers in that calculator, which you can get on your phone, you can be able to get what is the annual percentage rate. And then you're going to indicate, is it a good debt? Then you're going to consider, can I consolidate this debt? Instead of having 10 debts, can I borrow from the SACCO, pay all these guys, then I'll pay the SACCO or the bank of whoever, okay? Or can I go and renegotiate debts? I was supposed to pay for 2 months. I was supposed to pay for 2 months. Things are not doing right. Can I go and negotiate and pay for another 4 months? Then the amount is going to come down every time. That makes it simple to simplify. And it's good to see your loan statement. If you're paying your loan at the bank, please see the loan statement. Sometimes you have unfair penalty in there. You are charged a couple of things, but you're not aware. Too many do all that. I don't know whether that is too ambitious or that is doable. So the third thing we are tracking our spend. Again, just 2 minutes, track our spend. We are reviewing our recent transactions for the last month to identify where is the money going. We said earlier on we need to record expenses. So here we are taking a chance to see where is the money going. We are looking at records of our daily expenses where we recorded. We're seeing the receipts we have. And the whole idea here is now we want to correct these expenses in related categories so we can be very sure where the money is going. Some money is going into transport. And what is transport? Transport, maybe if you have a car, you're fueling the car, you're servicing the car, you're doing car wash, sometimes you're using taxi, you're using public system. How much are we spending? Are we spending too much? It could be schooling. Schooling is the other thing we believe. It could be food. How much are we spending? Feed ourselves. It could be housing, and housing is a big cost. We pay the house, we pay water, we pay electricity. It could be givings. We're changaling in this Arambe and the next Arambe, and we're giving enough. We need to have an idea in each category. How much money are we spending? And we also need to be able to look at all that we have done and ask which one is essential and which one is not essential. And that's how we can be able to say, are we overspending by dining out? We have all those subscriptions. Sometimes we do, and we do not even use them. You subscribe in a gym and you're never attending, but you're paying for the gym all the time. Or we are spending on non-essentials. So this is what we are trying to pick out by looking at our expenses, and that's going to help us whether we have budget alignment. This is what we intended, but is that what we spent, or did we spend something else? Are we sticking to the budget, or is our spending creep coming in? Because sometimes we get a creep. We just keep spending and you're not looking where the source is. So we're taking 2 minutes just to answer that question. The sanguine end up, where is my money going? And here we do it with confidence, because if I notice my money is not going where I want, what do? I have an opportunity to change. If you think transport is not going where you want to, it gets easier for you to say what specific in transport is not working well. Maybe I am hitting the road when there's traffic. If I woke up earlier, I can actually go when there's no traffic. Maybe the children are taking a bus, but I also go in that same direction. What if I drop them? This is going to help us to be able to see. We get more organized, and we get organized even with smaller things. You get surprised that you're going to the ATM every now and then, and you're getting charged every time you go to the ATM. So you start getting organized. You go once the ATM. You stop going there many times. We are doing a mobile bank, and we have never even considered what the charges are for mobile bank. So this informs us about money management, and this is important. So 2 minutes just looking at what did I do with the money last. So the fourth one, we want to assess our investments. Again, just for 2 minutes. We want to check our investment portfolio to ensure we align with our goals and our risk tolerance. So we're checking at where we have the investment, and we are looking at, for this month, how much is going to my investment? How much is going to the SAC? The CHAMA. You might have an insurance policy, and you do not need to have all these, because it's a question of what do you want to achieve. So how much is going to the SAC? In fact, how much is my SACCO accumulated to? The CHAMA, the insurance policy, maybe the money market fund. You might be investing in Mansa X or a pension scheme or cryptocurrency, or you buy shares, okay? Or you do real estate or forex trading, or you investing in business or buying government bonds. What do you want to be sure for the whole of the last 1 month? Where did I put the money? Did I put it where I want it? And so that now you can be able to look at what is called diversification. Are you balancing your investments in the various classes? Is all your money in the SAC? What if something went wrong, like something went wrong at Kush? Would you be wiped out, or do you have somewhere else? So you get a balance so that you are in shares, you have government bonds somewhere, you have SACCO somewhere, you have real estate. And the other thing that you're looking at on a monthly basis is their performance. How are they performing? Okay? You're looking at, yes, the SACCO, they Yeah, they are paying dividend, but how is it performing? How is my insurance performing? How is my money market fund performing? And are your investment are they meeting your expected returns, or are they performing below? I think Mansa X just declared their first quarter returns last week. Yeah, they have performed very well, almost 5% per annum for the first quarter, averaging about 20-something% for the whole year. That becomes important. It also helps you to think about your risk tolerance. So you look at your asset categorization and you say, do I have the comfort? Am I feeling comfortable about that? And that is where they say, if you're not sure about your investment, this is where now you consult an expert. You can sit with an expert and you can look at your investment portfolio. They can help you to do your budget so that you can optimize and get the best return. The problem sometimes we work all alone and then you're imbalanced. If something happens, things go wrong. So we are looking at investments. Why do we invest? Because that's the only way we can assure ourselves of better days ahead. So that's the fourth thing we are looking. The last thing is this is a bonus. And in this bonus, you're looking at updating your financial goals. Just 2 minutes. Because now you wrote the goals. You remember earlier year we talked about New Year resolutions and we said write them down. Yeah, it was intentional. We said write them down. Now here you're reflecting on them and you're seeing on the progress. You had your short-term goals. Okay? Are you on track of saving for holiday? Are you on track paying for debt? We had your long-term goals. You said you're going to open up a retirement fund. You're going to start owning a house. Are you on track? Where are you? Are there readjustments that we need to do? Are there changes in life? Because life has transitions, and when transitions come, we revisit the goals and we change. You might have gotten a promotion. You hadn't even anticipated it. That means you have more income. So you have more income to reallocate. Or the business area has not done well like you thought it would be doing. Nowadays, you could be doing a business very well. They start constructing the road next to you. And for some reason, it completely interferes with your business. That means there are a couple of things that you need to be able to check. So this one, in terms of reviewing your goals, you write down the specific goals that you wanted to achieve. And now you're looking through and you're seeing the ones that are working and the ones that are not working. So those are the 5 things. 5, we have said, is a question of just looking at your goals and have them, because they have to remain very, very relevant. Number 4, we have said, is about your investments. You're looking at your investments. How am I dealing with my investments, whatever the income is? Number 3, we said, is a question of spending. Where is the money going? How am I doing with the money? Number 2 was all about the debt levels. How much? And when we have agreed, debt is not bad. Number 1 was all a question of savings. So I think that helps us to do the pitch stop. The Safari Rally guy doesn't want to. He's losing time. But if he doesn't do that, what's going to happen? The wheel will come off. Now, what happens when the wheel comes off? The axles will break down. That's why he has to go to the pit stop. So by spending 10 minutes to review these key areas, what you are actually doing, you're able to identify the opportunities where you need to improve, and you're able to take the small steps that will give you the bigger result. How do you change your financial health? How do you stay well? You cannot do what you don't know. I think that's the reality of life. You can't do what you don't know. That's why you're saying, enroll in the masterclass. Come for a free session tonight. 0708 150 137. You can text, you can WhatsApp. Somebody will get in touch with you.